Welcome to Coin Explorer. Today, we're stepping into a story that combines history, artistry, and a little bit of American frontier spirit, all packed into something small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. I'm talking about a coin that, at first glance, might just look like ordinary change, the kind of thing you'd hand over at a grocery store without thinking twice. But here's the truth. This coin is anything but ordinary. This is the 2005 U.S. Buffalo nickel, a 5-cent piece with a design that harks back to America's wild past, a minting year full of commemoration, and, for certain rare examples, a collector's value that can climb to astonishing heights. In fact, under the right circumstances, with top-notch preservation, a special minting anomaly, and the right buyer, a single coin like this has been known to fetch prices in the range of thousands of US dollars. But let's be clear, not every 2005 Buffalo nickel is worth that. Today, we're going to break down exactly why some are more valuable than others, how to tell the difference, and the fascinating history that makes this coin one of the most beloved modern issues in American numismatics. So, before you toss that nickel in a tip jar or let it roll under your couch, stick around, because by the end of this story, you might be looking at your change in a whole new way. Let's start with what you can see. The 2005 Buffalo nickel is part of the United States Westward Journey Nickel Series, a special set of designs released between 2004 and 2006 to commemorate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition. That expedition, launched in 1804, was America's first great journey into the Western territories, an exploration that would shape the nation's destiny. Now, the obverse, or heads side, of the coin features a right-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, and the man who sent Lewis and Clark on their historic mission. But this isn't the traditional Jefferson portrait you might know from decades of nickels. In 2005, the mint gave Jefferson a more modern, close-up look. His gaze is direct, almost personal, as though he's looking right at you. Above his head, the words, "In God We Trust," curve along the rim. To the right, in Jefferson's own handwriting, is the word "Liberty," taken from a historical document penned by him. Beneath that, you'll find the year 2005, and just below, the mint mark indicating where the coin was produced, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco proofs. Flip the coin over, and you'll see what makes this design so unforgettable. A majestic American bison, sometimes called a buffalo, standing proudly on a patch of prairie. Encircling the top is United States of America, and beneath the bison are the Latin words e pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. At the bottom, 5 cents. This reverse design is a throwback to one of America's most iconic coins, the Buffalo nickel of 1913 to 1938, created by sculptor James Earl Fraser. The 2005 version captures that same rugged spirit, while fitting perfectly into the Westward Journey theme. Now, before we dive into history, let's talk about the coin itself, the way it looks and feels in your hand. The 2005 Buffalo nickel is made from a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel. This gives it that familiar silver-gray color you know from most modern U.S. coins. It measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter and weighs exactly 5 grams, a perfect balance that makes it feel substantial without being heavy. When new, fresh from the mint, it has a bright, metallic sheen, almost mirror-like on the proof versions. Over time, circulation pieces pick up a softer, more muted luster, sometimes with gentle golden or grayish tones from handling and age. The texture is smooth in the fields, the flat background areas, but crisp and detailed in the raised designs. You can feel the ridge of Jefferson's jawline, the curve of the bison's hump, and the tiny letters along the rim. To understand why this coin exists, we have to rewind, not just to 2005, but all the way back to the early 1800s. In 1703, the United States doubled in size with the Louisiana Purchase, buying vast territory from France. President Thomas Jefferson, eager to learn about this new land, commissioned an expedition led by Meriwether Lewis and William Clark to explore it, map it, and establish relations with Native American tribes. The Lewis and Clark expedition traveled nearly 8,000 miles over 2 years, facing treacherous rivers, uncharted mountains, and bitter winters. Along the way, they documented hundreds of plant and animal species, including the American bison, a creature that roamed the plains in staggering numbers at the time. Fast forward 2 centuries. In 2004, the U.S. Mint decided to honor this journey with a special nickel series. The first 2 designs came out in 2004. In 2005, the Mint released 2 more, one of them being the Buffalo Reverse we're focusing on today. This wasn't just a design choice. It was a way of connecting modern America with its frontier roots, reminding people of the wilderness, the expansion westward, and the resilience that defined the era. Here's where it gets interesting for collectors. The 2005 Buffalo nickel was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco for proof coins. But within those mintings, there are subtle differences that can make one coin far more valuable than another. For example, some coins struck at the Denver Mint display what's known as a speared bison error, a die crack that runs horizontally through the bison's midsection, making it look as if it's been pierced by a spear. This was unintentional, caused by a crack in the die during production, but it quickly became a collector's favorite due to its distinct and easily recognizable appearance. Other varieties include minor doubling in the lettering or numbers, slightly rotated dies, or variations in the strength of the strike. While these may sound small, in the coin collecting world, such differences can mean the difference between face value and a price tag in the thousands of dollars for pristine examples. Now, let's talk about the part that always gets people's attention: value. Most 2005 Buffalo nickels you find in change today are worth, well, 5 cents. That's the reality. They've been in circulation, they've got scratches and wear, and millions were made. But, and here's the exciting part, certain rare varieties, especially those in uncirculated condition or with notable errors, have sold to collectors for significant sums. One particularly high-grade speared bison example, graded MS-67 by a professional grading service, sold at auction for a price in the thousands of US dollars. Now, I want to be clear, this doesn't mean every coin in your pocket is worth a fortune. The high-value examples are rare, and their worth depends on condition, demand, and rarity. But it does mean that it's possible, if you know what to look for, to find a hidden treasure. So, what should you look for? 1. Mint mark. Check under the year on the obverse. A P or D can matter, especially for known error varieties. 2. Error marks. Look closely at the bison's body for any unusual lines, like the speared bison, or doubling in the text. 3rd condition. Coins with no visible wear, sharp details, and original luster are always more desirable. 4. Proof coins. If you have a mirror-like finish with frosted designs, it might be a San Francisco proof. These were sold to collectors and can be worth more. A magnifying glass and good lighting are your best friends here. Coins like the 2005 Buffalo nickel aren't just about money. They're about connection. When you hold one, you're touching a small piece of art that represents centuries of history. From the Native American tribes who revered the bison, to the explorers who first documented it, to the modern minting process that keeps these designs alive. Collectors often say that part of the thrill is the hunt. That moment when you notice something different, something rare, and realize you found a story hiding in plain sight. If you think you found a special one, the next step is preservation. Never clean a coin, it can destroy its value. Instead, store it in a protective holder to keep it safe from scratches, fingerprints, and moisture. Professional grading from companies like PCGS or NGC can confirm authenticity, identify varieties, and assign a grade that collectors trust. A coin graded highly by these services can sell for many times what it would without certification. The 2005 Buffalo nickel is more than just a 5-cent coin. It's a bridge between America's past and present, a reminder of the vast landscapes, wild creatures, and daring explorers that shaped the country. Sure, most are worth only face value, but some, a rare few, carry stories, errors, and conditions that make collectors' hearts race and wallets open. If you've got some tucked away in a drawer, maybe it's time to take a closer look. Because in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the smallest objects hold the biggest surprises. Thanks for joining me on this journey, coin explorers. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with other history lovers and treasure hunters. And remember, always check your change, because you never know when that ordinary-looking coin might be the start of your next great discovery.